So normally we would sing another song together before the speaker, but today we have a very special guest who is both a speaker and a musician who's going to be sharing his own music with us. So before we invite him onto the Zoom screen so all can see and hear, I'm going to introduce you to our speaker today. So today we have Ari Moshe Wolf. He's an evolutionary astrologer, musician, and a devoted seeker of truth. Ari utilizes astrology as a spiritual study and tool that serves in our own soul evolution. His teaching is rooted in the beautiful lineage of evolutionary astrology as taught by Jeffrey Wolf Green and continues to blossom with his own ongoing realization. He also deeply draws upon the wisdom teachings of A Course in Miracles and brings his music with him wherever he goes. You can learn more about Ari's offerings, music, and services on his website, arimoshe.com, and that link is also in the newsletter if you want to find him there. So without further ado, we'd love to introduce to you Ari Moshe Wolf. Let's give him a hand.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. It's a real honor to be here with you. So, we're going to sing a song. This song is a meditation to start over again wherever we happen to be. And for me, the practice of starting over again is unconditional. It doesn't require any state. It doesn't require any particular emotion. It just requires a little bit of willingness. So I invite you all to join me and to give yourself to this song. Sing along. I'll be repeating the verses a few times each so we can catch it. I'm starting over again. I'm starting right where I am. It is all I can do. I devote my life to you. I'm starting over again. I'm starting right where I am. It is all I can do. I devote my life to you. We'll do that again. I'm starting over again. I'm starting right where I am. It is all I can do. I devote my life to you. Next part. Every time I make a choice, every time I grow, it happens here and now as I remember, I don't know. Every time I make a choice, every time I grow, it happens here and now as I remember. I remember. I remember. I remember. Forgiveness is giving the space to return to this moment in grace. It is now I do live in this infinite power to give. Forgiveness is giving the space to return to this moment in grace. It is now I do live with this infinite power to give. Every time I make a choice, every time I make a choice, every time I grow, it happens here and now as I remember, I don't know. Every time I make a choice, every every time I grow. It happens here and now as I remember. I I remember. First verse once more. I'm starting over again. I'm starting right where I am. It is all I can do. I devote my life to you. I devote my life to you. I devote my life to you. So hello everyone. Hopefully the sound levels were appropriate. I arrived later than I intended to. So my apologies for that. Today is a full moon. And I don't want to speak to the astrology, but I want to speak to something that's very alive and present. Oftentimes during a full moon cycle, there's a sort of culmination happening. The core dynamics of the soul journey in some ways come to a head. They're more expressible, they're more tangible. And I wanted to share some prayerful reflections on really what I think is most important right now. There's a teaching in the Gospel of Thomas that I've been thinking a lot about lately. He says, if you bring forth what is inside of you will save you. If you do not bring forth what is inside of you will destroy you. It's a really powerful statement, and I've been thinking so much about it. I once had a dream where I was told, give yourself more. And I woke up thinking, give myself more. Does that mean give to myself or give of myself, right? And as I've been just walking my path and humbled by life, I'm coming to recognize that they are in fact one and the same. That which is inside of us needs to be shared. It needs to move out. And if it's not shared, there's something that happens where we don't realize who we are. We don't realize the love that we are. That which is not offered is not experienced, it's not known. We don't taste our own sweetness. So it's a very interesting situation where we end up living in some kind of poverty. And I often find that the prevalence of strong need, the perception of lack, often coincides with a not knowing of our own beauty, a not knowing of our own gifts. Now, we didn't create ourselves. We're sort of just what we are, looking and discovering that which is unique to our own being. Our soul individuality, our essence, comes with the fabric, with the intelligent design of creation, actually. Our self-image, our self-concept, maybe that's something that we're projecting. But this beingness that we are, it's sort of beyond our understanding. And we do tend to repress. We do tend to hold back. We do tend to hide. And then we look for all the things that we think we need. We look for everything that we think will fulfill us. So to bring forth what is inside of us is to know it. There's this other song that I have. I can say I wrote it, but really these are all just moments of prayer. And you You don't say I wrote a prayer. You say you prayed. It came through you. And I'll recite the lyrics. Giving is the way to find what I've got. I'm rich inside. So let it go that you may see all the wealth that lives in thee. It's almost as if you open your mouth, if you start dancing to the music, then you experience what it's like to say what you're going to say. Then you experience what it's like for your body to be an instrument of beauty. If you pick up the instrument, if you express your love to another person, if you express your gratitude, if you decide, you know what, I'm just going to take this moment and be completely present with whomever I'm with. Only in these moments of choosing to experience ourselves in life do we actually get to know what we are. And it's simple, but we can't intellectualize it and plan it ahead of time. We can't find ourselves by thinking about it. But the opposite is true too. This teaching on if you bring forth what is inside of you, what is inside of you will save you. This is also our own darkness. If we try to deceive ourselves and pretend that the pain, the fear is not there, that our judgments aren't there. No, I don't judge anyone. None of that. I'm just happy all the time. Right? If we look at Pharaoh Williams and imagine this guy, he's only happy all the time. And maybe he is. I've met people in truly awakened states that have achieved, an almost abiding state of joy. And I love the song that we sang this morning. But how often do we take these ideals of openness and light and truth and very innocently and mistakenly forget that we can't get there if we don't even just subtly acknowledge and notice the obstacles to that. And one of the teachings in A Course in Miracles, often associated with Rumi, which I find could be quite interesting, but it's in the Course in Miracles. I'm going to misquote it, but it goes something like, don't seek love, but rather seek all the obstacles in the way of love. Seek and find all the obstacles. Right? Love is our nature. There is a joy and a beingness and a lightness to what we are. But if we deceive ourselves and prevent and hide and keep our awareness from the fact that there is judgment, the fact that there is fear, we really won't allow ourselves to grow into what we are. And so bring forth what is inside of you. Don't hide it. Don't be ashamed of it. And I think this is one of the hardest things on the spiritual path, to be completely honest. To be completely honest. Try that in a relationship. This is something that I think is really beautiful about this human experience. My teacher, Jeffrey Wolf Green, he's the man that has brought forth the astrology lineage that I practice. He has a beautiful teaching. Again, this is it's not a direct quote, it's a paraphrasing. That every relationship can provide wholeness and completion. And this is not because of the idea that you complete me, you have something that I don't have, but rather we are all a perfect mirror and reflection for one another. And in true commitment, and this is commitment to whatever, right? Not an idea of commitment, but to be committed to one another, to not run away when it's uncomfortable or painful. This could be a casual acquaintance or a marriage partner. Right? But to be truly committed to each individual is to recognize everything that arises is not meant to be taken in isolation and private. Doesn't always mean you're telling everyone everything that's on your heart, but to really appreciate that to live in freedom, to live in joy, and to live in wholeness and love with one another is to not pretend to be something that we're not. We can't really love one another. We can't truly accept one another. We can't give all the love and the beauty that is inside of us if we're going to try to hide the judgment and the fear. And none of us are exempt from this. We are all here, I think, in this earth school because there is confusion. There are yet little corrections in the mind. And we depend on our relationships to help reveal that. And it's no one's fault for how we feel. It is the gift and the blessing that we are given from all of our relationships to notice how we feel, to be revealed to our own selves what is inside. And that's one of the deepest practices on this path, to really understand that everything is just being revealed. No one's causing anything. And so to bring forth what is inside is to not allow ourselves to settle in any kind of thought of separation. Not bypassing it, but not concluding there. And I think it's very wonderful, it's a gift. If anyone here has a relationship, and we all do, where we are tempted in some way or another to hide what is inside, if we can actually communicate and share in perfect, honest expression, this is what's here. This is what's on the inside. This is what I'm working with. Thank you. Thank you, because without you, I would not see this. That stage of honesty, of willingness to be uncomfortable, willingness to be seen, willingness to get beyond the judgment and the fear and the isolation into, oh, there is fear, there's isolation, and there is judgment. Thank you. There's a teaching in A Course in Miracles, let me not depend on my past learning for how to respond to this. I don't know what this and anything means. One of the workbook lessons says, I am not upset for the reasons I think. The reasons we think that we are upset or that we are in fear or that we are angry are not the reasons. Those are the reasons that we hold on to when we are deceiving ourselves of what is inside. There's actually another really beautiful teaching in the Course that says, from the point of view of the Holy Spirit, every relationship is a total commitment and has the potential to satisfy you completely. It's not popular to think of one another in those ways. It's not popular to think of one another as our saviors. It's popular to think of one another in terms of, how will I get my needs met? I want to find the person that will treat me this way. Or if we're with someone for a long time, I wish you would just act this way. Or to internalize our own shame. I need to act this way around this person. I should behave this way. I should want this thing. I should only want these kinds of relationships. I shouldn't want these things. We're in a stance of either denying ourselves our desires and feelings, or repressing them, or trying to deny and push away who other people are. And we often think that the only two pathways in our life are to act upon our belief in separation, or to repress what's inside and just try to keep it all good. When we repress, we become depressed. We try to fit ourselves into a box that we think we should be living in. And when we just act on our fearful beliefs, we feel guilty. And so there's some sort of beautiful middle ground. I think in one of the Gospels, Jesus says, maybe it's also in the Gospel of Thomas, be ye passers-by. Be passers-by. Don't get too involved in the drama, in the confusion. Well, what does that mean? What does that mean when I think about what does it mean to be a passerby? It's not being aloof and cold and distant, because there's something in that. Right? There's a lot of attachment and resistance in that. It means I think there's a way in life that we're invited to learn that doesn't try to take control or manipulate what is. It doesn't mean we have to act on the world of fear that we see. But we don't have to suppress it. There's something about being completely honest about what is inside. What if we don't know what we need next? What if we don't know the best path forward? What if all we need to do is fully acknowledge what's here and then say, I give this to you. I give this to you for reinterpretation. I give this to you to reinterpret, and I give you back my life. I give you back the control that I think I had. I give you back my perceptions of myself, of one another. One of the final teachings, the Course in Miracles, for those that are familiar or not familiar, there's a 365 days of lessons that you can do. And this wisdom teaching is an important part of my own life. It's a dear blessing. So I bring it forward a lot. One of the final teachings in the Course is actually, no, I'm not going to share because I'll have to find the page. I want what you give me in the form that you choose. I want what you give to me in just the form that you know is best. Recognizing everything is for my benefit, everything is a gift, and my brother and my sister is my salvation, is my savior. But to get beyond the depression and the guilt, the control, all the ways in which we either repress or try to control what is, there needs to be complete honesty. And so if you do not bring forth what is inside of you, it will destroy you. Try living with resentment. Try living with shame. And giving our light and giving our darkness, it's really all the same. Anything we hold on to will hurt. Just on the other end of the fear, the judgment and the separation, just on the other end of that is the love and the light that we are. And what's profound about it, once again, we didn't create this love and light. It is what we are. And I think the spiritual practice, one way of thinking of it, is a deep, curious inquiry into the truth of what we are by way of bringing that reflection into more and more moments of our life. I am love. Well, I don't feel that right now. I don't think that. I'm not seeing that. Right? So then those are the moments where the inquiry gets real. What am I seeing? What am I feeling? What am I holding on to? Okay, this right here is where I need to look. Not bypass it, but really look there. And it's actually quite beautiful if you think about it. The truth is permeating, it's all encompassing, and it's indiscriminate, and it's always true. And what we are is always true. There's no moment or situation where it's not true. Thus, the very places where it feels not there are actually the pivots for the greatest miracle. And the times where we are most likely to not even know that. The moment of our greatest confusion and ignorance are both the moments where we are conditioned and most likely to just follow that path of ignorance indefinitely, but also those are the moments of greatest potential. Those are the moments where the miracle is there waiting for us. The miracle is a return to love. So I want to close, and I'll sing this giving song because it's in me right now to share it, and we'll take it from there. Fill me up so I may give. I may give so I may live in emptiness and certainty, confidence in what I be. Fill me up so I may give. I may give so I may live in emptiness and certainty, confidence in all I be, in emptiness and certainty, confidence in what I be. Giving is the way to find what you've got, you're rich inside. So let it go that you may see all the wealth that lives in thee. So let it go that you may see all the wealth that lives in thee. So many, many blessings to us all. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Stanley and William. Thank you, Pam, for inviting me to be a part of this. Pam took my training program last year, which I'm happy to talk about and share more for anyone that's interested in the work that I do in this beautiful astrological lineage. And yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for having me here.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ari, for being here and for sharing your gifts, your music, your words of wisdom, your connection. We really appreciate you being here with us, your time and energy, and being on the West Coast. We know it's a big time difference for you, so thank you for that as well.
To be
Thank you so
honest,
much.
is it okay if I just let people know about the just the work that I'm doing and the training program that I have? Is that appropriate here?
Sure, yeah, if you want to take a moment, that'd be great.
I would love to. Yeah, just for everyone to know for a minute about the work that I do. The astrological work that I teach is called evolutionary astrology, and it's about looking at the chart from the perspective of the soul's journey. So the training is about learning astrology as a way to understand how each soul comes into this life with its evolutionary intention, the unique path of awakening, the unraveling of that for each individual. So it's a deeply soul depth psychology level of learning and a deeply spiritual practice and study. So I just want to make sure that I shared that with everyone. And if this is of interest to you, please check it out on my website. And this is a program that actually begins in a couple weeks. So we're just about to get started on that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing with us, Ari. We appreciate you. Thank you.